On sports, lifetime Longhorn Doug English is in the house this morning. John Medani, Ellie Price, 390 Live is the telephone number this morning.
My break went fast. You just sit here talking to Doug.
Oh my goodness!
Time. Sorry about that.
Yes, it does. And Doug, the golf tournament is just around the corner as we speak, and very important. This is not just a golf tournament. This is actually a way of life for some people that are going to change a lot of people's lives.
Absolutely.
And the most important function that you guys do for helping people with paralysis. So, how do we get info out to people this morning?
Like everybody else, we've got a website. Like everybody else, it's not kept up to date, or as we don't use it as well as we should.
Mm-hmm.
But with volunteers, a bunch of volunteers working, trying to do other things at the same time to keep the lights on. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but it's www, of course, LoneStarParalysis.org.
And Ellie's linked it to your page, Buck, to the Buck on Sports page.
Okay.
So
Outstanding.
Even if somebody can't follow that, or they're driving to work, don't stop and write it down. You can just go to the Buck on Sports and link it. So we've got it there.
And even if people don't play golf, they can donate.
Oh yeah.
To your foundation at any time.
And here comes the sermon I warned you about.
Okay.
And I can't help but give it. But when people donate to the Lonestar Paralysis Foundation, they'll never donate to a better cause for their money. They'll never donate to anybody who manages their money better. More of our money goes to our mission, or as much as any charity out there. And before you donate to a charity, I always suggest people look at their financial statement.
Mm-hmm.
Ask for their, if you're going to make a big donation, ask for their tax return. See exactly how much money does go to your mission. Who's making money off this deal? Our board donates everything we do. We all donate to the foundation. If we fly to see a researcher, we buy our own plane tickets. We buy our own hotel rooms and meals. When we meet monthly, we buy our own lunch. This is a working, caring, involved board, and we run it super tight so that more money can go to what we're trying to accomplish, and we are accomplishing.
I'm looking at this thing too, Doug. We want to ask you just a little bit of NFL stuff. I'm looking. You can get involved in this thing for as little as $50, and that gets you dinner and a couple of drinks. I mean, I spent that last night.
Yeah.
And it ain't going to help anybody other than the place I gave it to. So it's a pretty good deal. The NFL schedules are going to be released, and again, this information is going to be on the Buck on Sports page, and you can always refer to it so you can get involved in this event that's just around the corner. NFL schedule is going to be released tonight. Most people remember you. I mean, you paved the way for guys like Rod Babers, made it okay for Longhorns to play for the Detroit Lions. That's one thing you and Babers have in common.
Really?
They decided they liked us.
They like Lions. Yeah. Boy, they draft Longhorns up there. The schedule's released tonight. They've got a pending work stoppage, and you played through one of those things because you were playing very well at a high level back in '82 when we only had a 9-game schedule. What do you remember about that year?
Not much. Not much. One of the things when you have a work stoppage, whether it's the local plumbers union or airline pilots or anything else, I think you develop a lot of animosity toward different sides. Not unlike politics, and some of those scars take a while to heal. So it's I remember that there was some disagreements and some near fights. There probably were some fights. I just don't remember them because they weren't that uncommon anyway at that level. And it's you know what's going on really with this strike.
Sure.
I mean, here's the problem. Goes way back, literally to the 70s. The NFL Players Association was founded by a couple of union type lawyer young guys, and they wanted to see this operate like the auto workers, and they wanted to be big shots like the big shots who receive millions of dollars in salary from the auto workers union. And it turned out that way. Gene Upshaw was making millions.
$7 million a year.
I do not know.
Yes.
But so they started with this collective social. Pardon me, but it was a socialist mentality because, and I'm not saying anything to you. I didn't say directly to their faces because I made the mistake of allowing myself to be voted onto the board for 1 year. But they go to the NFL and they say, okay, 52% of your income goes to salaries. Here's what we want. We want that 52% coming to us, and then we'll pass it out according to our goals.
Right.
Even though you own the company. Well, of course, that is never going to fly. Never was going to fly. And they wasted the strike. They wasted all years and years and years messing around with wage scale, this socialist idea of letting the union take all the money and pass it out according to whatever scale they determined. And while the baseball players started, their union was started by their agents, by business people. They go in, they say, look, just give us a little free agency. It's just fair. You know, after a guy plays a certain amount of time, you ought to be able to, you know, bargain his talents to the highest bidder. Okay, they get a little bit of free agency. Boom, their salaries go through the roof. And it wasn't until the NFL Players Association finally gave up on their silly notions and went with a little free agency, the NFL salaries went through the roof. And so now, you know, now there's a lot of money out there, and the NFL continues to make it a bigger and bigger and better game. And we're behind, and it's all because of really a bad culture in the players' union.
And the owners are never going to give up
rid of the whole
books.
union and start over.
Owners are never going to give up their books.
Oh man, these guys are brilliant. They're tough businessmen. Most of them are self-made men.
Before they got these little.
If you walked in, Doug, because you've done this. I mean, if you walked in and they said, "Doug, we need your help, man, end this strike," what would you tell both sides? In 60 seconds, you would tell them both to do what?
Free market. I said, let's all agree on free market principles and go from there.
Okay, owners can sign who they want, players can play for who they want, and somehow that you cap the salaries.
With that, with that being the extension of it, somewhere in between, you're going to have, you know, everybody's going to want their little restrictions here and there, out of insecurity from reliance on a free market or whatever. But I would say, you know, let's set free market in the center of the think
and work outside from that,
and let's work out ideas coming off of that and see how close to that we can get.
Doug English helped the Longhorns win 3 Southwest Conference championships. Played about 10 years or so in the NFL, and for 32 years now, the Lonestar Classic has been helping the Lonestar Paralysis Foundation. We've got information on their big event coming up. The dinner at El Arroyo and the golf tournament at Onion Creek, all that can be found on the Buck on Sports page at longhornstation.com.
Thank you so much for joining us. We
Always
appreciate it, man.
Always.
It's good to
Love
see
being
you.
with y'all.
You look great. You look like you
too,
feel
pal.
great, and you do great. That's what you do is something very, very special for a lot of people, and we appreciate having you this morning.
It's a lot of fun.
All right, we just got late word. We've got another special guest coming up, bottom of the hour. How about Jonathan Hillstrand? Anybody recognize that name?
Who?
Anybody watch Deadliest Catch?
I do.
He's one of those captains. He's joining us. He's coming to Austin. He's going to talk about what he's doing in Austin coming up at 8:30 on the Buck on Sports. AM 1300 The Zone.